So what have they been doing recently, then? Suppose we're about to find out?
Yeah? Here, you can have it all.
She handed the woman a heavy canister full of water. The broken water pipe hung over them menacingly. The liquid, still glowing with chemicals, made its way down a simple plastic tube into the canisters on the ground. After escaping the hospital, they'd lain low for a few days, resting and letting the dust settle as they made plans. Their first attempt to steal water had been a disaster. It had been raining that night, and Ronnie, who had climbed to tie a rope around the pipe, had nearly fallen off after slipping. And then no one had shown up to take the water they had to give. They'd stood there for hours, shouting to sleeping residents that there was free water to be had. No one had come, and someone had called the police. In retrospect, it made perfect sense. Someone had tried to lure Josephine out of her apartment in the middle of the night by promising free stuff. She would have called the cops too. Next time it had gone better, they found ways to contact the residents near the place on social media and give a heads up. About 15 people had come to collect the water. It's not a massive success, but word had gotten around. Twice that number had come the next time, and even more the next. Gradually, they'd gotten an audience. People knew that they existed. Ordinary folks kept their windows open at night so they could listen. If they heard a pipe crack or the shouts from below, they'd rush to the scene to get their precious free water. They'd become famous just in time. After a week of nightly gigs, the police began to look for them on the internet. They had to quit advertising entirely. But now they no longer needed to. Hundreds of people were in line just tonight. Above the slums or not, this was a poorer neighborhood. Many of the residents already knew to come running the moment a water pipe fractured. Like people of Josephine's building had, they had brought bottles and kettles with them. Many were deeply excited just to get an entire canister. A family with a canister didn't have to buy much water over the next few days. Bob, who apparently had many connections among shady people, had acquired large numbers of plastic canisters for a suspiciously low price. They had to be quick. Soon Nephthys would notice the leak, cut off the flow, and the police would come crashing down, beating up and arresting anyone they found at the scene. Josephine and Bob were filling and giving out canisters, while Norbert gave free medical care to people showing up. Oh, that's rad! Go, Norbert! Ronnie and Amy were on watch duty. Of all of them, it was probably Norbert who enjoyed his new role the most. The doctor smiled, played with kids, and tended to people's wounds, as well as gave out medicine for fevers and stomach aches and such. He couldn't do much, of course. No matter how many pharmacies they robbed, it was difficult for them to carry large stores of medication. Josephine liked watching him work. She couldn't understand how Norbert had been able to work at Jenner for so long. This was clearly what he was born to do, helping the helpless. He even stopped to give eye medicine and rabies vaccines to street cats. As he was wrestling with a particularly mean-spirited tomcat, a crying boy suddenly limped over to him and tugged at his pants. The boy's knee was bleeding. He tried to pick up a water bucket and fell over, his mother explained. I see, it doesn't look bad. If you just wait a second. I'm trying to treat this ungrateful... I can take a look at your son. Ronnie had returned from patrol. She knelt by the boy and tapped him on the head. What's your name? Jimmy! The boy sobbed.
Wait, I was Jimmy.
Oh, you were Jimmy, I'm sorry. So, Jimmy, did you try to help your mom with the water? The boy nodded. He was about 10 years old. Well done, but you have to be careful. Your mommy doesn't want to see you hurt. Jimmy was crying. He tried to say something through his tears, but Josephine couldn't understand a word of it. I know. Look, I'm gonna clean your scrape, and then I'll help you carry the water, okay? He nodded again. 2 other smaller kids were with him, looking worried. Are these your siblings? Hey there. I'm Angie, and this is Thomas. A girl slightly younger than Jimmy explained. Why do you have a gun? The one introduced as Thomas asked her. Wait, you were Thomas.
No, I was Jimmy.
Oh, you're right. Well, Thomas, I have a gun because... Can I shoot it? Oh, you're... Sorry, I see snot-nosed little kid and I get carried away.
You already said the line?
Jimmy asked, suddenly excited. No. Guns are dangerous. You should be happy if you don't have to use one ever. I want to see the gun. I stole your line. Do it.
No, you already said it.
The boy started crying again. Ronnie swallowed the curse words on her lips. You cannot. Stop crying. Look, I'm finished with your knee. You were very brave. Mommy must be proud of you. It didn't help. Jimmy was crying and his 2 siblings were now making finger guns and shooting at each other. Ronnie flinched and looked around for help. How would you like to play with this? Norbert was holding a stethoscope.
What's that?
Jimmy asked, definitely not convinced that it was as cool as a gun. It's what doctors use to treat people. Here, look, like this. And Norbert put the cold metal on Ronnie's chest. It's cold! You can use it to listen to what someone's heart is saying. The boy frowned.
Hearts don't talk, they beat.
He said, proud of the knowledge. The stethoscope can actually listen to there's like a stethoscope to voice thing on Joe's heart. Oh, they definitely speak. This lady's heart is saying, wait, I'm still listening. Oh, yes, it's saying that, I think it's saying that you should go and treat your sister. She's been shot. Angie and Thomas were indeed both pretending to die from gunshot wounds. The boy took the instrument and rushed to treat his siblings. Thanks for coming to my rescue. I did not see that coming. Kids are hard to predict. Hey, I couldn't help but notice. I don't want to talk about it. Watching those kids be so excited to shoot each other killed me a little. Let's leave it at that. I understand. If you ever feel like you need to... I appreciate it. Now focus on the people who are asking for help.
Well done, both of you. How was the knee?
It was just a little bloody and bruised. It'll be alright in a few days.
But
I have a feeling he's going to have to carry a lot of water buckets before he grows up.
he's the oldest of 3 children. The mother can't carry all of it herself.
I know. I'm not blaming the mom. I just wish we could help them more.
Me too. How many water gigs have we done now?
Enough that people know to show up when they hear the water pipes crack.
But Nephthys has barely been affected. Every crack has been fixed within hours.
People are beginning to see. Soon they will realize that if we don't pay for water, they don't have to either.
How many people have copied us? None that I know of. We aren't building a mass movement here.
No, but we're doing good. Look at them. Josephine saw the long line of people that were still waiting for their ration.
We won't have time to serve everyone.
We never do. I'll make another round. Last week some thugs were waiting behind a corner to mug people on the way back from us. It's not the kind of activism we want to encourage. Ronnie left, oddly quiet. People in line seemed to know their time was running up too. There was a ruckus at the back.
Bob, can you see to that? Pleasure.
Bob jogged to the back of the line. The old man was much better in condition now than he'd been 2 months ago. He seemed happier, and the new diet was definitely healthier than whatever he'd been eating previously.
Imagine being there at the back of the line, knowing that someone's going to be the last one to get water.
We'll serve them next time, or maybe their neighbors will give them some of theirs.
Or maybe they'll pay for water like good citizens and be forced to skip meals because of it.
Why are you so gloomy tonight? Are you okay? Buster Wolf.
I just can't help but feel that we're insignificant, like none of this really matters.
We're all over the news, you know. They're afraid of us.
We're not exactly bankrupting them.
No, but that's not what they're afraid of. They fear that people will begin to notice their lives are better without Nephthys than with it. What we do shadows the story they tell about themselves, and they need people to buy into that story.
I know,
You just want to imagine Francis being furious and helpless as he watches Nephthys' stock value go down?
Exactly. Everyone has a dream, right?
Well, maybe revenge isn't as important as helping those in need.
Don't be silly.
Have I abandoned my career for a woman consumed by vengeance?
You did it for me?
I have to be honest, Josephine. I really like Bob, but I didn't run away for him.
Well, this vengeful bitch is very grateful for your company.
She gave him a brief hug. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but we need to hurry up. The guards are on their way. Listen up, the guards are coming. You need to disperse if you don't want to get arrested. Grumbling, the mass of people began to scramble in all directions. Those closest to the water rushed forward to fill their bottles and buckets. Joe, we have to go. Amy saw them approaching from the east.
Then let's call it a night. Pack up.
With speed that only practice can bring, she helped Norbert stow his medical supplies. She was already seated in a car and about to close the door. The mother of the hurt boy came to her. Hi, and God bless you. My name is Katrina. Will you come back? The woman asked. Josephine shook her head.
Not anytime soon. This place will be guarded after tonight, but nothing is stopping you from doing it yourself tomorrow.
Josephine gave her a wink and closed the door. Amy, who was already seated, stepped on the gas as they drove off. Bless you, the woman muttered to herself, before hurrying away with her children. Not 2 minutes after they'd left, guard patrol cars filled the spot, and anyone still lingering was arrested. In an hour, Nephthys mechanics had repaired the water pipe completely. By dawn, there was no trace left that anything unusual at all had happened. Except perhaps a strangely out-of-place stethoscope on the ground, kicked around by the hurrying rush hour of commuters. Jimmy had dutifully cast his new toy aside to help his mother with the water again. After driving west a short while, Amy took a sharp turn and headed uptown. That was the simple secret to their success. The security force was used to looking for a section or two downtown when they hunted criminals. That a wanted criminal hid in the highest layers of the city to commit crimes downtown was inconceivable.
The night was a good night. How come? I knew some of those folks. Good to see friendly faces. Isn't that a liability? They could rat you out to the guards. Lay off, my friends. No way someone like Weeping Richie would sell us out. You have a friend named Weeping Richie? I'm sure his passport says something else, but yeah, great fella. Reliable when things get rough. And why is he called Weeping Richie? I don't recall. I guess he cried once. And are Weeping Richie and his friends your union buddies or your petty criminal buddies? A bit of both and factory people. And you seriously trust them? With my life. You'd trust your life to a man whose real name you don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Richard. And yeah, your life too. It's good to know that Weeping Richard has my back. Enough squabbling at the front. How did we do tonight, in numbers?
I treated maybe 20 people. I hate being so rushed. I gave out medicine to maybe 40 more.
That's less than last night. We also had some extra canisters. Are we getting sloppy?
No, I've been keeping track of the security response time. They find us a little bit faster every night.
We need to shake up our routine. We need to be more effective.
Could we split up, hit 2 places?
We only have 1 car.
The way they broke the pipes was very simple. Ronnie would climb to the pipes and wrap a chain tightly around them. The other end was then tied to the car, which pulled until the plastic pipes broke. Should Amy's parents find out how their car was being used, they might have disagreed. It's also far less effective if there are less of us distributing the water.
I may have an idea, but it needs planning.
They drove in silence. Soon Josephine could feel the car tilt ever so slightly as they exited the plains of downtown and began rising up towards the hills. Even now, there was a feeling of pride and importance that Josephine felt whenever she went up. She turned her gaze to the window. Slowly, the grimy constructs of the tower lower classes began giving away. Soon they were replaced entirely by the kind of ugly but sturdy apartment block she used to live in. And then she saw it.
Stop the car.
Amy obeyed, and Josephine unbuckled herself with haste. She ran to the building nearby as Ronnie followed frantically. It was a bland apartment building, not too dissimilar from their old one. Its windows were covered with plastic and the door was nailed shut. Clearly no one lived there anymore. But it wasn't the house that interested Josephine. It was the huge billboard in front of it. The billboard was painted with fluorescent colors that shone brightly in the dark. Coming soon on this spot, your dream home. Over 2,000 new apartments with associated services will be finished by next year. Get yours today. So it's an apartment ad. What about it?
Look at the pictures of the apartments that they're selling, and then look at the building.
Oh, so they're tearing this one down and building a fancier, more expensive one on the spot? That kind of sucks, but again, what's the big deal? Josephine pointed to the company logo at the bottom of the billboard. It was Nephthys. Wait, Nephthys bought this building and evicted all the residents?
It's not just this one either. Look around.
Ronnie scanned the area, and sure enough, every house they could see on both sides of the street was dark, closed off and destined to be torn down. Without even noticing it, they'd driven into a small ghost town.
How do you think they managed to buy this much real estate?
The same way they tried to buy our building.
And now they're doing it on a massive scale. This is bad.
Agreed, but we should keep driving. The ghost town gives me creeps.
No, I want to know how far it goes.
Why does that matter to you so much?
Nephthys is up to something. It can't just be new apartments. If we find out what, we can do something about it.
And what if there is no evil plan? What if they're just on the hunt for cheap real estate?
Knowing their method for acquiring that real estate, I don't see how that's any less evil. Amy, new plan. We're seeing how far this ghost town goes. Are you sure? Won't the security be sweeping areas like this?
Amy's got a point, Joe.
Guys, we're never going to make a difference if we can't interfere with Nephthys' long-term plans. I promise to think of a more sensible way to get intelligence in the future, but can we just do this? It's dangerous. Can't we try to find out online tomorrow? I don't want to go down there. Of course you don't. You might meet poor people with funny nicknames. Will you ever stop that? Can't you see... I say, let's do it. We're not far from the slums anyway, and I want to see what's going on.
I'm in too. I want to know what happened to the people in these buildings. Well, Josephine does make a good point. It's dangerous, but so is everything else we do.
Okay, you have me outnumbered. I'll turn the car around. And Bob? Yeah? Interrupt me once more and you walk home.
Got him. Amy turned the car around and they drove slowly back downtown, as Josephine gazed at the empty apartment blocks. They went on and on and on. Okay, I'm reading about this now. Nepthys announced a month ago that they were building new housing developments here. The articles don't mention the current buildings or the people living in them.
Makes sense. Does it say how big this area is?
No, it doesn't tell me where to buy one of the apartments from, though.
Then keep driving, Amy.
They drove on in silence. The empty buildings had an eerie atmosphere to them. The dark gray blocks of concrete with hundreds of empty black windows reminded Josephine of giant skulls lined up in a row. Empty eyes watching their every move. Some of them clearly weren't completely empty, though, as individual windows had flickering lights in them.
Squatters, no house stays empty forever. Can you blame them? Not a lot of places where homeless people can go. Of course, but couldn't they go to a shelter or get a job that comes with a dormitory? Seems to me like only people with something to hide would come here.
Amy, remember that steep learning curve? You mean people like us?
Good point, I guess. And it's not like these buildings are getting torn down because they were collapsing on their own. Yeah, up there's about as comfy as life can get for someone living on the streets. Until the demolition crews show up.
Steadily they drove downhill, but the ghost town continued. Eventually the buildings became derelict hovels. Hovels practically covered in sand.
We're almost outside of town. Have you seen enough, Joe?
It's like an entire stripe of the city.
Seems like it.
What would they do with that?
I don't know. I've actually never seen the desert. Have any of you?
I used to go camping there after my service, to clear my head. Isn't that illegal? The entire desert is a hazard zone. Well, there isn't anyone there to enforce that law, is there? The only hazards I know of are the lack of pure water and threat of bushfires.
If the main danger is lack of water, then it isn't that different from the city. Let's go see it then. I doubt we'll be coming back here anytime soon. Is there really that much to see? I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Quit complaining.
They parked the car right at the edge of town and made their way to a small hill. As soon as the building stopped, the sand began. The land was dry and dusty, with only a few thorny bushes pushing through.
Alright, there's sand. Are you happy?
Josephine was. Under the twinkling starlight, the desert was incredibly beautiful. Rolling hills and dunes dotted the landscape. Shadows hinted at canyons and ravines. Towards the horizon, one could see mountains. Josephine turned around to look at the glimmering skyline and crisscrossing neon pipes of the city. She saw the gardens far away at the top of the town. There was a light on at the top floor office. Francis was at work. Look, there are lights in the hills. Josephine turned back to the desert. Moving her gaze from the splendidly lit city, she was struck by the darkness before her. Except it wasn't completely dark. Ronnie was right. There were lights on in some of the hillsides. Josephine thought she could make out the shadows of people around them. Who would choose to live there? There's nothing in the desert.
Someone who already has nothing. They have to be fucking desperate. The closest water is here. You have to piss off someone pretty important to wind up there. Like Francis Brabeck? Good thing we have Rich Girl to house us. I do more than house you. You do, Amy. We could never have pulled off Jenner without you. Didn't this place used to be greener? When I was a kid, there was still farms out there. Then the plants started dying and folks began getting cancer. They say the ground is toxic. I don't know if that's true, though.
It is. The soil has been ruined by pollution and the groundwater was all used up. It's a miracle anything lives there.
But now it's being reclaimed by nature. Maybe one day the groundwater supply will refill. That's small comfort to the families who lost their livelihoods. I never said I didn't sympathize with them.
Stop bickering for a moment, will you? I'd like to enjoy this view. Enjoy it lying down. I see a drone. They quickly threw themselves down on the sand and crawled under the scant cover of the bushes. Josephine heard a soft humming as the recon drone flew over the area. It was just a shadow against the starry sky, but if it noticed them, it could kill them. Crap, I didn't know they actually patrol the outskirts of the town.
Maybe they didn't before.
It's sweeping west. I think it's safe to get up now. You think? For all I know, there could be a satellite pointing at us. Can't see any other threats, is what I meant.
Then let's get back to the car and consider this a healthy reminder that we can't afford sightseeing, I say, after having made everyone do this. Who was the one that... Anyway, we're just as much on the run as whoever is making those fires in the desert.
They turned and stumbled down the small hill to the car.
Have they considered making rivers in the desert? God. I love that song.
I think that one's pretty good. I do enjoy some of the Persona 5 soundtrack. As they drove to Amy's parents' place, Josephine was deep in thought. Buying that much real estate wasn't a snap decision. There had to be a plan behind. And if there was a plan, there could be a counter plan. That's what I was thinking, is that she needed to know for sure that how it was laid out. And if it's going directly from the top of town, directly cutting a swath to the bottom of town, that gives you an idea. I don't know what she gets from that, but it gives you an idea, right?
She is a hydraulic engineer. She might know things about
That's true.
Pipes and water supply and their
Of
locations.
anyone, she would have the best idea.
Yeah.
They sat gathered around the large kitchen table. On it was a map of the city. They had marked every spot where they'd stolen and given away water. They also marked every pharmacy they'd robbed, as well as all known police stations and private security barracks.
So, the guards are tightening their network. Every night they locate us a little faster.
If this keeps happening, soon they'll be at the scene so quickly we won't have time to escape. What options do we have?
Could we just rob water stores? The water would be in canisters when we get it, and we could simply drop the canisters off at set points. Water shops are guarded. We'd have to bash some heads.
Norbert frowned a bit at the idea. After the hospital raid, they'd managed for months without ever having to hurt someone. No one was eager for another round of tasings and beatings. They'd also have alarms that we can't turn off in time. The security would be there before we could pack all the water.
I have a plan that would let us break the tubes at several points. Do you know what a sweeper is?
Something that sweeps. A broom!
Yes, a broom. A sweeper is a robot that cleans the insides of the water pipes. It self-propels through the pipe while brushing the walls clean.
I assume it lets the water through?
Yes, water flows freely through the robot's center. And when the pipe widens, it does too. It can adjust its size by filling tanks up with water. When the pipes get narrower, it releases the water and shrinks again. It's a real masterpiece of elastic robotics. So, it's a fancy chimney broom. How's that gonna help us? I was thinking, what if we stole a bunch of them and rigged them with small bombs?
Small bombs. Really? That's the explanation you come up with, is small bombs?
Yes.
You mean we could reach the water pipes at multiple points at the same time?
And without actually being there ourselves. Sounds good, but where do we get these robots? We would have to break into a water shop, but I think we could get around the guards.
I don't know. We couldn't control how the pipes go down. There are many things that could go wrong. I'm starting to sound like you again. I actually agree with the doc. We would effectively be bombing the city. Bombs are not precision weapons.
The pipes are plastic. We would only need very small bombs.
God damn it. That doesn't eliminate shrapnel, fragments, things falling off, or people just standing too close.
You think it's too risky? It would also bring bad press. A little sabotage doesn't look nearly as bad as bombing residential areas. But wouldn't it be much more effective? We could do a week's work in one night. We wouldn't. We would just break the pipes. Someone else would have to take care of distribution. I know people we could contact.
None of that eliminates the problems with the method.
If we can find spots that we presume are clear of people, could you get us small explosives?
I can build bombs, alright. Most supplies for this kind of work can be bought at any larger market, but bombs never work the way they should. What's your idea of a safe space for the explosions?
The blocks Nephthys has bought and cleared of people.
Oh. Yeah, that would work, actually. It's still hella risky. We went there tonight and saw people. I don't want blood on our hands. Our hands aren't exactly clean as it is.
How would we handle the distribution? We could send word to some of the folks we've already helped, stash canisters somewhere close to the bombs. It's still gonna take longer than usual, it's risky.
I'm worried you'll run out of battery. We should take the charger with us into the car.
Oh, can I plug into, like, the cigarette lighter slot? Do cars still have those? Do people still smoke, or does everyone vape nowadays? I must admit, I just don't know. Doc?
I personally vape.
I see.
However, I smoke, but only cigars.
No, it's our only one. If we have to abandon the vehicle or run for our lives, I don't want to risk losing it. How about this? We split up to check the breaches. We only have to make sure things run smoothly. If we split up, I'm on Team Norbert.
Thank you?
First, we have to get those robots.
Robots? In disguise? And to do that, we have to fight the guards. You wouldn't have to fight shit. Me and Bob could neutralize them. But we would have to do it. People would get hurt. Nephthys started this by killing 57 people. If we can't punch a few guards, we'll never be able to strike back. We shouldn't have to do what they do to stop them from doing it. I didn't say we were going to kill a bunch of civilians. Just take out some guards. Euphemisms won't change what you're proposing. The guards at some water pipe intersection didn't do anything to deserve neutralization or getting taken out. No, but I'll still break their bones if that's what it takes to keep us all safe and bring down Nephthys. I won't take any pleasure in it, but I will do it. Maybe we shouldn't go ahead with plans that necessitate breaking bones. You didn't seem to mind when we beat up that nice young guard with a knee injury. That one couldn't be avoided, and I do mind it every day!
Shut up, both of you. I know the layout of the place. I think we can get in without hurting anyone.
I do like how this game takes a lot of time to examine, like, some of the, like, legitimate, like, maybe moral hangups one might have to taking direct action like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, that's a fair conversation to be had.
Yeah. What's your plan?
Josephine sighed.
Something I'm deeply terrified of.
Oh no! Crawl spaces.
Yep.
Either that or heights or both. The drop was only 12 meters or so. It was very, very likely that she'd survive. That didn't make her feel any better. It had taken them 2 days of preparation to formulate their plan. The water distribution center they were targeting was one of those places where big water pipes meet and then split up into smaller ones. It was a simple 3-story building. On the ground floor, there was a 24/7 Nephthys shop that sold bottled water, water purifiers, soaps, and such. One could even buy the chemicals that made the water glow, as well as sets of soda, flavor packs, and alcohol to make lemonade or sports drinks or beer at home. It was a weird business model, but it turned a steady profit. Most customers were just people who couldn't afford their water bills and had to buy it in canisters until the next payday. This way, Nephthys made money even from clients who couldn't afford to give them money. Above the shop, there was an office floor, and above that, the maintenance sector. Here, inspectors would sample the water, locks controlled its flow, and robots cleaned the pipes. All the guards were on the ground floor, or so Josephine had reasoned, but there was another way to the building that led straight to the 3rd floor. The water pipes. She and Ronnie had climbed to the top of them the way Ronnie always did, via the support structures on the ground. Josephine was no less afraid of the heights now than she had been 6 months ago. It was rainy again, and everything was slippery. and she was still in pretty poor shape. Ronnie had to help her get on top of the pipe. The pipe was a massive plastic tube that Josephine couldn't get her arms around. Slowly, inch by inch, she crawled forward along the cylinder. A gusty wind blew into her face. The plastic under her fingers was both very cold and slick. Every time the wind roared, she could have sworn the pipe trembled and creaked.
Are we gonna die?
Probably, but that's not important right now. Don't worry, if I fall, you won't be able to see it. And if you do, I'll catch you. Crap, this thing is slippery. It's almost like there's water in it or something. Ronnie was behind her, having someone at her back made her feel safer.
I'm drenched.
Same here. I feel like a soaked rag, but we're close, just 30 meters or so to go. 30 meters was a long stretch to crawl. The only way to make progress was to hug the massive tube and try to pull one's legs forward. Just getting a grip was hard enough, though. Through the slippery surface, she could feel the water coursing with high pressure. The view wasn't bad. Oh, sorry. The view isn't bad. Certainly better than the one in the maintenance sector of our building.
There's less mold anyway. Personally, I'm not a big fan of seeing where I might fall.
Thing is, you can try to aim. Maybe you can fall on Francis's car?
Not helping, Ronnie.
She could already see the entrance. The pipe had a bit of extra room around it, but the whole plan hinged on squeezing through that space. Then Josephine's hand slipped, and she fell face first onto wet plastic. And suddenly she'd lost her grip. And then she was sliding head first off the pipe.
Ronnie!
Ronnie lunged forward and grabbed her by the waist. She struggled to get back on top of the pipe, but couldn't seem to do it. There was nothing to hold on to. Grunting, Ronnie pulled on Josephine's waist until she was sideways on the pipe. She could see cars driving fast down below. She raised her head higher, but it wouldn't stop spinning. She couldn't see her legs, but she felt the terrifying nothingness beneath them. It was still raining. The pipe was getting more slippery every minute. Soon she would slide off to her death. She might get to choose whether it was head first or feet first.
I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna fall.
You're not. Stay calm. I've got this. Josephine felt Ronnie grip one of her feet and slowly pull it over the pipe. She had enough control of her movements to slide back into an upright position. Then she didn't move for several minutes. Her heart wouldn't stop pounding, and the rain kept lashing her hands and face. Are you alright, Joe?
No, I'm scared shitless.
You're doing great. We're almost there.
I'm honestly not sure I can move.
Sure you can. Take it slow, inch by inch.
Can I keep my eyes shut?
I don't think that's a good idea. Keep your eyes on the pipe.
The pipe's the problem. I can see through it.
I'm right behind you. Just keep moving. And slowly, Josephine did. She locked her focus on the gateway ahead and nudged herself forward. The last few inches were the worst. When she finally reached the wall, she grabbed the opening in the bricks first with her left, then her right arm, and pulled with all of her strength. She bumped her head and scraped her back, but eventually she fell onto the dry floor safe and sound. Ronnie had more trouble. She was carrying their equipment in a backpack. The bag couldn't fit through. To Josephine's horror, Ronnie rose into a sitting position, calmly took off the bag, and opened it.
Hold on, you're going to fall.
Take this, and this.
It's no use.
And one by one, she passed through the small gaps, the 7 bombs. A gun, a rope, a taser, a flask of hot coffee, a drinking bottle, and a sandwich.
I get the snack and the coffee, but a bottle of water? While we're stealing water?
You think bank robbers go on gigs without some change in their pockets?
I did think that.
Finally, Ronnie handed her the empty bag and then squirmed through the space much more gracefully than Josephine. Once they were both inside, they took a long breather, looking at each other in the eyes. You made it. I knew you would. And Ronnie punched her on the shoulder.
Ouch, why'd you hit me?
I took 16 points of damage. Sorry, old habit. That's how we hug in the army. Josephine embraced her and held her tight.
Thought I was going to die.
And I thought I was going to lose you. Josephine could feel her heartbeat and her breath and hear her breath. Ronnie's hair smelled good. She was feeling lightheaded. Their noses touched. Now she could feel her breath as well. Josephine pulled away.
We should...
Yeah, we absolutely should. Is this the right place? I mean, later, let's circle back around to that, but for right now, it was. They were in a large hall. Water pipes came in from all directions. Inside, they joined, broke apart, and snaked around each other all over the place. Against the walls were computers and shelves. They were the only furniture in the room, which was lit only by the eerie glow from the water chemicals. Are those robots somewhere in here?
Yes, I can see them.
How can you see them? Have you developed, like, cybernetic vision? Josephine danced, bent, and crawled her way around the water pipes of various sizes to a storage container on the opposite wall. The sweepers were kept in an airtight container whenever they were not in use. A simple interface got them out without so much as asking for a password. Josephine took a few extras. The sweepers resembled a caterpillar made of brooms. The entire outer shell of the robot was just one big brush. When activated, that would rotate as it shot through the water. The inside was hollow, so water could flow through. Handy little things.
I went to school with the woman who designed them. They're marvelous.
Having second thoughts about blowing up your friend's work?
We were never that close.
Ronnie had built 7 small bombs that she now attached to the robots with no finesse and lots of super glue. How much weight can these things pull?
Remember that accident a few years back when some idiot drowned in a water pipe?
The guard who tried to hold his breath while swimming from one distribution center to another?
And drowned halfway.
I actually knew him.
You did?
Yeah, we used to work for the same security company. He was a nice guy, really dumb, but nice.
I'm so sorry, I didn't know.
Oh, don't be, he was an idiot. That pipe stretch was a mile long. No one could have made it. What about it?
These robots are how they got him out. That's all I wanted to say. They have strong engines.
It's okay. Hey, you're shivering. She was right, Josephine was cold. Good thing I brought the coffee. Have a sip. The smell of coffee filled the room. Drinking it filled her with warmth and whisked away her throbbing headache. Even Ronnie's coffee was exceptionally good. Almost good enough for Josephine to put the near-death experience behind her.
I hope I didn't offend you by just assuming you knew how to make bombs.
Not in the slightest. It's a highly useful skill.
When have you needed it after you left the army?
Well, one time I pranked a friend.
With a bomb?
Bomb pranks, starting now. I love their reactions to bomb pranks. A small one. I made him a birthday cake that was shaped like a cartoon bomb.
Wait, so you're saying that the food contained small bombs?
Okay, he did not swallow the small bomb.
And there was an actual bomb in it?
Not a real one, just a bit of compressed air that blew the thing in his face.
Swear to God you'll never prank me.
I swear I will never prank you with an explosive device.
That's not good enough.
Sorry, it's the best I can do.
Tell me about these bombs.
I thought about using bottles of pressurized gas, but I didn't want any shrapnel flying around. This is just a small plastic explosive with a tracker and a detonator.
How accurately can we follow them?
Very. How do we launch these things in the right direction?
I can handle that. You set up the rope so we can get out of here.
Yeah. Hey, about what happened just before.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Now's just the worst possible time. My mind is on Nephthys.
I know, I get it. Don't worry, I stepped over a line.
You didn't. I leaned into it, too. In another situation, who knows?
An airlock system let Josephine insert the robots one at a time into the water flow, each with a set destination. Ronnie waited in silence as Josephine programmed the robots. She checked them twice. Even if one bomb went the wrong way, it could lead to a disaster.
He was hoping for the best.
Once the robots were away, the two climbed down a rope attached to one of the thinner pipes. Soon they were in the car where Norbert waited, tracking the robots with a monitor. Bombs away. I get it?
Yeah.
Bombs away.
Yeah.
I've been waiting all evening to say that. I came up with it like 2 hours before we left to do this, and I've been sitting on it this entire time, and now I've just gotten to use it, and I feel like the reception is a lot colder than I would have expected. Hey, you're using army slang. It suits you. The bombs appeared as tiny red spots on a map of the city's streets, and the sweepers swam slowly through the pipes, dragging their own destruction after them. They passed busy bridges, crowded plazas, and went through apartment buildings. Josephine began to see how horribly everything could indeed go wrong. When they hit agreed-upon areas, they slowly stopped. They're in position. Last chance to change your mind.
Do it.
Ronnie pressed a button on her watch. Boom! One by one, the trackers disappeared as the bombs went off. Boom! The others they couldn't hear. It was done. So far, everything was going perfectly. Why is there still one tracker beeping?
Oh no.
One of the bombs hadn't stuck to the robot, just the tracker was attached to the sweeper, which was still brushing the pipe somewhere.
You think?
I know how to make bombs. It definitely exploded. We just don't know where.
We have to find it.
I'll drive along the route to the bomb.
I'll call Amy. Fuck.
The people had come as expected, though through Bob's shady connections, the residents of the area had been informed when and where a water pipe would rupture. Earlier that day, Bob had driven around, hiding empty canisters nearby. The spot that they were watching had almost worked as intended. The bomb, supposed to go off inside an abandoned building, had instead done so right next to it. Now there was a waterfall of sorts spraying the inside of the building and filling the large, disinfected trash container beneath. From it, the locals could fill their canisters. People had scrambled to the scene immediately, and Amy and Bob were there to show where the canisters were and how to make sure everyone behaved. Then they would run to another spot before being picked up by the others.
Why am I always stuck with you? I specifically asked for Norbert. Thanks.
Thanks, Amy. Amy.
I didn't mean it that way. It's just those three are always together. We're left out. That's 'cause Army Girl and the Doc are both head over heels for Josephine. Huh? You hadn't noticed? But Ronnie's always punching her on the shoulder. Army Girl is like that. She's not exactly a sweet talker. More like one of the guys. More guys should learn how to talk at all, sweet or no. Yeah, well, women love to talk too much. The more they go to school, the more they wanna. And you hate it? No, of course not. But you know how it is. You come home after a long day and just want to lie down and have a beer. But then someone shows up to nag about the dishes. Yeah. Oh, wait, you were doing that thing again. Yep, and you didn't do well. But you know, there's a time and a place for talking. For example, right now I'm kinda out of breath.
Doing that thing again. Yeah, that thing where we try to see whether or not you're still sexist. Well, eventually.
How are you simultaneously so strong and yet wear down so easily? Beats me, getting old is weird, but I take it you haven't found a guy who talks as much as you do. It's not about how much you talk, it's about knowing when to talk, and when to listen. And the Doc is good at that then. Don't you think he is? He treated you for months. I mean, yeah, he makes for good company, sure. Is that it? Be nice? Is that all it takes to get on your good list? Oh no, there's a whole lot of requirements.
Here, I'll send you I'll Discord you a link with all of the...
Yeah, I'll give you a PowerPoint.
I've got the updated Google Doc.
Just kidding, that's the gist of it. And know when to stand up for others and when to sit down and listen to them. When's that? Well, okay, how about this? I've always been well off. Everyone knows that the moment they see you. So, maybe I don't know what it's like to be living from hand to mouth, and you do. If I started giving you tips on how you could save money, that would piss you off, right? Hell yeah, you people do that, you know? One time this investor guy went on and on about how I should invest in a garden lot to grow my own food. Like I had that kind of money to begin with, or the time to tend to a fucking garden when I did 14-hour shifts. Exactly, so he should have listened to you about what being working class is really like. Wait, you're gonna make this about how I can't know what a rich person feels like, aren't you? No, I'm not. I mean, it could be true, but rich people get more than their share of space to tell you how they feel. Damn right they do. Hold on, someone's calling. Amy, one of the bombs went off before it reached its target. Oh, fuck, what happened? We don't know yet. We're driving there now. Can you guys take over a third site for us? Sure thing, we'll have to do a bit of light jogging, but we'll get there. Can you guys pick us up at the same time and place? Sounds good, stay safe. You too. That sounded bad. It was, we have to get going.
They left the people by the waterfall and made for the next meeting point. It was half a mile away.
Light jogging my ass. How are you so fast? Regular exercise. Keep up, heart attack man. I hate this. I have blood in my mouth, you know? You shouldn't, you're vegan now. I'm not a vegan. Have you eaten anything else in the past 2 months? Hey, do you hear that?
Water for sale! Just a few pennies per liter. Get in line for sweet discount water.
That doesn't sound right. No, it does not.
The second bomb had worked perfectly as intended. The neighbors had not. The container was being filled up, but it was guarded by half a dozen big men. People were lining up in front of them, money in hand. The big men were taking the bills and handing out half-filled canisters.
They're selling it. Bastards. What do we do? They look dangerous. They're just punks. I've met people who are actually dangerous. I can't believe this. The whole point was to get people free water. Looks like some people took it to mean it's free for them to sell. Some people don't deserve our help. Don't be so hard on them. They're just trying to make it to the next day. We're still gonna stop them, right? Absolutely. Let's go.
They ran towards the men. Hey, there's a line, get to the back! Someone from the line shouted at them. Bob gave the man a look that silenced him right away.
What is this crap? Who the fuck are you?
We're just enterprising individuals, don't worry, there's plenty of it, enough for everyone, one of the men said.
That water is supposed to be free for everyone.
But everyone's free to it, we don't discriminate.
Except by price. We blew up that pipe so people could have water for free.
You blew it up? Sounds like I should report you to security, girl.
She's a union leader, you know. Who do you guys work for, anyway? No way you jackasses came up with this yourselves.
Watch your tongue, else someone's gonna cut it out.
Now, ain't that the oldest threat in the book? How about you and I take this to the alley?
Look, I know who you are. You're senile Bob. Heard your ticker gave up in the middle of a fight. Or they sent you to the hospital. Aren't you a little too old for this kind of thing? Bob was livid. Amy could hear him grinding his teeth and cracking his knuckles. People in line were backing away. It looked like there was going to be a fight. Except Bob would never win. There were 6 of them and they were probably armed.
Yeah, they sent him to the hospital, but did you hear how he got out?
It would be smart to shut up when men are talking, girl.
Actually, I think you might want to hear this. Bob here escaped from Jenner Hospital.
The fuck he did? That place is guarded. They keep all the doors locked.
Bob tore off the door. Then he realized he'd forgotten something in there, so he broke back in, turned 9 guards into patients, and stole a helicopter.
The look on the men's faces changed suddenly.
I figured you'd heard about it. Word gets around in the underworld.
One might ask how it is you know about any of this. Who the fuck are you anyway?
She's my boss. She's with the union.
The union?
There's a power plant nearby.
And?
Their evening shift is ending right now. I'm sure that when the workers come home, they'll be happy to know who exactly scammed their families and denied them free water.
The man began to look nervous. The people were coming closer again, listening curiously. My wife's a factory worker, and my brother too, someone shouted back in the line. Amy could see the men thinking hard about their options. Some of the stronger residents were coming closer to them, young men and women, angry mothers, adult sons. The men realized those options were dwindling. They were badly outnumbered.
If you leave now, you'll be able to keep all the money you made so far. And you'll leave now if you're smart. We're more than union.
Listen, you don't want to mess with people we work for. You'll end up sleeping with the fishes, one of the men threatened, but quite feebly.
The cliches just keep on coming. The people we worked for bombed the city at 7 locations simultaneously just tonight. Sure you want to mess with us?
The men looked around them. Some of the residents were really close now. Closing up shop, good night everyone, the men said before running away. People immediately rushed to the container to quench their thirst.
You know, I could have taken them. You know how men sometimes do incredibly stupid things to feel more like men? You mean like boys putting socks in their trousers, or rich guys my age buying sports cars. Thinking you can take on 6 guys that are your size definitely falls in that category.
Bob laughed.
Quick thinking there, rich girl. You have a way with words. And you have a way with standing there and looking dangerous. I'm still pissed at them, though. We always wanted to inspire others to show some initiative. Maybe it was inevitable that someone would do it wrong. Maybe, but don't they get it? Don't they understand that we're fighting so everyone could have it better? They're working so that they and the people they care about could have it better. We all look out for our kin. Are you defending them? No, but I get it. They were young men. Young men need money. Bob, I know you've been involved in organized crime. How much exactly? Well, I was never that involved. Maybe a little. You've been a little criminal? Did you grow up on the streets or something? I grew up on a farm.
A street farm? Where they grow streets?
No, in fact. Really? I didn't take you for a cowboy. I wasn't. My family grew wheat and maize. Then a certain water company pumped all the water out of the soil, and the land dried up. Nephthys? Oh no, that was years ago, before Nephthys existed, but they're all the same, you know? There's no good companies and bad companies. Just blood-sucking bastards. So, what happened? You moved to the city? Yeah, we all did, me and my 7 siblings. You have 7 siblings? Yep, big family. My old man never got to lay down. Me, it sounds like your mom never did.
Bob laughed.
Yeah, her neither. Anyway, I came here and got involved with the union. That got me arrested, and then I got some new friends in jail. I'm sure you did.
You're doing great, by the way, on the solo scene here.
They weren't that bad. They ran some dodgy nightclubs and sold fake purses to rich girls like you. Hey.
Am I wrong, though?
Sorry, old habit. Anyway, I became a bouncer in one of their clubs. I helped them throw out unruly customers and scare off other gangs. Like, for money? Yeah, but you know I protected them and they protected me. Anytime my landlord thought he could raise the rent, he'd get a visit from my friends. And then you had a heart attack in the middle of a fight. Yep, haven't heard from my friends since then. Did you ever do anything bad? I did some stuff I'm not proud of. We all have. But you're with us now. You're helping everyone. Guess so. We should go. There's nothing more to see here.
Where'd the other bomb go off, though? That's what we still gotta figure out. They still hadn't found the last bomb. Josephine looked out the window at the residents gathered to collect water from a successful bombing. There were a lot of people in line for water. These people looked worse off than the usual bunch. Their clothes were ragged, and some clearly hadn't showered in ages. Many of them only had small drinking bottles with them. Some had volunteered to fill the canisters so others could take them. Few people were filling buckets from the waterfall, only to immediately shower on the spot, despite the freezing cold. Why are there so many of them? They can't all live here.
They look way too poor to be living here. Hold on, I have to ask some questions.
Josephine opened the car door and ran out.
Hey, do you live here?
An old woman looked up.
We used to right there in that building. Then we all got thrown out.
What do you mean, thrown out?
Nephthys bought it up just over half the apartments. Then they evicted everyone else.
I knew it. Where do you live now?
Some went to live with families, some found new places downtown. Most of us here sleep in an old air raid bunker a few blocks down.
Josephine continued her interrogation. Ronnie and Norbert waited in silence. I'm worried about her. How come? She's obsessed with Nephthys. I fear she might lose track of why we're doing this. Afraid her mental health might suffer. Maybe Nephthys is why she's doing this. Maybe revenge would give her peace. Violence does not lead to peace. And sitting down and suffering silently won't make the violence stop. Do you honestly think we can stop Nephthys without anyone getting hurt? Seriously, is that what you think? We should at least try. There are good people on the other side too. Don't you worry you'll end up beating an old friend? If that happens, I'll be very, very sorry. But I've picked a side, and they've picked theirs. It's your whole problem right there. And here I thought my main problem was the bomb I accidentally set off God knows where. No, but you're looking at this like we're at war. There's us and them. It doesn't have to be that way. And to you, this is just a friendly neighborhood bombing campaign? We're working to improve this city. Everyone's lives will get better if we win, whatever victory looks like. You know, I respect your morals, I really do. But you can be a bit naive. Joe isn't going to let Nephthys go unpunished. I respect your courage and commitment, but it's cynical. If we start deciding who deserves a beating. I never said anyone deserves it. Okay, some people do, and some people deserve worse. Sometimes there just isn't a choice. You know, this squabble is getting us nowhere. There's no reason why we can't be friends. I guess not. How are you doing, friend? Much better, now that I know this is as awkward for you as it is for me. High five! Tension reducing, high five! Yes! Shouldn't have used my metal arm. Us being alone? You bet. We're adults, we have a job to do. Can't afford to fight over a girl. Especially when all she cares about is her precious revenge. She cares about you. I've seen it. I know that, and to my great displeasure, she cares about you, too. So, we're really on the same side here. We both want what's best for her. Seriously, Norbert, you can't answer every problem with, maybe everyone's on the same side in the end. Nephthys and us have opposite goals, and they aren't going to compromise on us. And you said you and I have radically different ideas about what constitutes the best for her. And we can't compromise either. All we can do is trust her choice and live with it. And work together to keep her safe. On that, at least, we can agree. They were silent for a long time. Hey, you know how to make cybernetics, right? That's literally my job and my life. Norbert waved his metal arm in Ronnie's face. Could you make a suit of armor? Like Iron Man? I thought only little boys wanted to be knights. If only you knew. I love Ronnie's smug face. Oh my god. No, I don't think I could. Cybernetics are fragile. I don't know how to fashion anything that can absorb blows. My real hand can take way more of a beating than my artificial. Too bad. It would have been awesome to suit up like Ned Kelly. Maybe you'll get a chance. Hey, so what took you and Josephine so long? When? Earlier, when you inserted the bombs. Oh, nothing. We just rested and caught our breath for a while. That climb was rough, you know. Yeah, of course. I couldn't have done it even with 2 real hands. Sure. Josephine's coming back.
Nephthys is evicting people by the thousands.
Good, so now we know for sure. That doesn't help us find the rogue bomb, though.
We should help them, make Nephthys pay.
We've given them water. That's all we can do for now.
I guess. Let's go. Every face I see here makes me feel like we've failed.
We've helped them more than anyone else.
I know. I just wonder. Why do this? They already have a monopoly on water. What are they hoping to achieve?
More money? You said it yourself. Investors only see dollars.
Actually, Francis said that. I guess it could be true. I just wonder if it's the whole truth.
Damn. Just one more, Amy thought. 5 explosion sites had been checked. All that was left was the one bomb that had gone off God knows where, and this one. Aside from the punks they'd run into, everything had gone swimmingly.
Ha!
Swim! More water had been delivered than ever before. Security forces had been so stunned by the sudden explosions and flood of phone calls that followed that they were only now beginning to move out. Amy was still high on adrenaline after the last pipe. Intimidating those gangsters had felt good, powerful. At the scene of the next destroyed pipe, they stopped in their tracks, stunned. There were people there, all right, hundreds of them, but no one was collecting water. The trash container from which no one was taking was overflowing. Instead, the mass of people on the site were lining up for something else entirely. On the other side of the square, there was a stand, a truck, and people handing out bottles of water. These people weren't criminals of any kind. They were all young, good-looking, and almost certainly from affluent families. Kind of like her in many ways. In fact, Amy thought she knew some of them. On the truck, the stand, and on every single plastic bottle they gave out was a huge Nephthys logo. And there was a happy, cheerful music playing, and cameras everywhere.
What the? We should get out of here. This has to be a trap. No, this isn't for us. They're trying to undermine us. What do you mean? They could just arrest us the moment they see us. Those are news cameras. When they film what happens next to their logo, they want the world to see happy people getting their share of water, not violent arrests.
They got in line with the rest and waited patiently for their turn.
I don't get it. There's free water right there, and these folks wait in line for a tiny bottle. Why? Bottle is legal. People don't like breaking the law, even when the law is terrible.
Slowly they moved forward until finally they came face to face with the college students manning the Nephthys stand. A smiling blonde girl handed them both a bottle of water with a sticker attached to it. Congratulations, it read. Use the code below to get 30 days of running water at half the price.
Who are you people?
The young woman blinked her eyes and smiled as she answered. Do you want to take a random voice this time?
We're volunteers from the Nephthys Humane Water Department. We are here to educate on the dangers of drinking dirty water. But isn't that water over there just drinking water from the pipes? Sure, it could be perfectly safe, but any water that stays still or exits the pipe from an unsanitized point runs the risk of carrying dangerous bacteria like cholera. I thought that only grew on pump handles. Do you know what happened to the pipe? I'm sorry, I don't, but there is no need to worry. Most likely there was a flaw in the structure of the plastic. It should be fixed by tomorrow. And you're here to stop people from drinking that water? Why, yes. Did you know that unclean drinking water is one of the biggest killers worldwide? Our job is to make sure people here know better. Have you considered just making safe water more affordable? That's hardly my call to make. Besides, we're giving sample products for free. What could be more affordable than that?
Everything about the girl annoyed Amy deeply. Her broad smile, her friendly manners, and most of all, her high-pitched songbird voice.
But isn't it hypocritical to dole out tiny bottles of water while still making tons of money selling it? I don't think so. Someone has to keep the product clean and fix the broken pipes. That used to be done with taxes, but in this system you only pay for what you consume. But your taxes depend on your income. Your water bill doesn't. A privatized system hurts those with the least means.
Hey girl, can you move your ass? You're holding the line back, someone shouted from behind her. Amy bit her lip. To think she was fighting for that man's rights. Bob turned around.
That's not a very polite thing to say. I think you should apologize.
The man behind them was youngish, maybe in his 30s. Looked pretty irredeemable. I didn't say jack shit to you. The fuck's your problem?
Not having to spend more on the water than I do for rent would be nice.
Amy realized that Bob had spoken loudly on purpose so people around them would hear it.
And why is your company evicting people from their homes? What's the Humane Water Department's opinion on that? Bob, you're causing a scene. Can we just go?
Bob promptly ignored her and continued.
Last month I couldn't shower for a week because my payday came after my water bill was due.
Amy was shocked to see that people were joining the shouts. My bill has doubled in 5 years!
My twins have to shower together because I can't afford to let them have separate showers. They're 15 years old.
These people actually hate Nepthys, she realized. Free water and a smile from some attractive student can make them forget it, but only for a little while. Amy held up the bottle that she'd been given.
Yeah, free bottles don't count much when every shower costs $4.
Amy had no idea how much a shower cost, but $4 sounded like a lot, and the people reacted approvingly.
Keep your free product sample. Keep the discount, too.
She threw back the bottle. Some others followed suit. Don't listen to that bitch. We don't want some socialist... Oh, that's a word trying to ruin our water. It was just one voice, but it startled Amy, and soon that voice wasn't alone. Yeah, we don't need charity. This is a free city. Every man should be able to pay for his own. Without Nepthys, there'd be no water at all. They're offering a discount. Is nothing good enough for you parasites? Other voices joined in the shouting match, which quickly began to evolve into arguments.
I don't want to go back to the old way. No way in hell am I paying for some college person's hour-long showers.
Hey now, that wasn't a family-friendly word that you were just about to use. That one came from right next to her. The man was pointing at Amy and smiling.
I'm sorry, what? That's it.
Before Amy could stop him, Bob punched the man so hard he flew back a few steps and crashed into the crowd.
Learn some manners, jackass. Bob, I could have handled that on my own. Hey, I was just helping out. That excuse of a man had it coming big time. If I need your help, I'll ask for it. You don't have to defend my honor.
You sure? I can just do it.
Much as I enjoyed watching him go down.
Ain't that the both of us? High five.
Suit yourself. Next time you punch. Not every situation calls for a fist fight.
But a fist fight in front of the cameras. But this situation had already become one. The man Bob had punched had landed on someone who disagreed with him strongly. Their brawl was quickly escalating and others joined in. Some were arguing about the issues, others were wrestling on the ground over dropped water bottles. Many more just kept shouting. Some shouted while still waiting for their free sample. Some put a bit of distance between themselves and the shouters and tried to form a new line at the edge of the square, so they would still get their free samples. Until water bottles were thrown at them by the people standing nearby, that is. New people were showing up, attracted to not free water, but to the entertainment. The brawl was snowballing into a full-blown riot, and the cameras recorded everything. Amy felt someone pull her arm. It was Bob. He took her away from the stand to the edge of the square.
That's gonna look bad for Nephthys. It sure is. I feel kind of bad about those volunteers. They don't run Nephthys. It's their choice to be there. No one's stopping them from joining that school thing you run. I don't think I run that thing anymore. I've skipped quite a few meetings. I can't believe that man back there. I argued for him. You did, but this is a crowd. Crowds are dumb. You can't win by arguing.
You sure? I argued a crowd into submission once. They were cowed by my facts and logic.
But you can by shouting angrily? If you can get others to join in, sure. Those kids thought they were helping. They think Nephthys runs a charity. They might not think that anymore. I'm just wondering, could this event mean Nephthys is becoming aware of the problem? What happens if they learn that people will respond with shouts if they try something nice? They don't care about the people. Yeah, but could they be made to care under a different leadership? Thing is, caring costs money, and companies hate things that cost money. What about good PR? They care about their brand. Do you really want a world where poor people starve unless some corporation thinks it's good PR to feed them? Isn't that where we live now? Isn't that what we're fighting against? I guess you're right, and this is gonna hurt Nephthys' PR big time. We should get to the pickup point. They must be waiting for us by now. And seriously, Bob, I am angry with you. Do you understand why? I guess you wanted to punch the man yourself? I want it to be my choice whether the people who treat me like shit get punished or not. When you charge in like that, it makes me feel like you don't trust my judgment or capability. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I guess. You know, I wouldn't work with you if I didn't think you were capable.
Bob learning how to express like more complicated feelings is that's the wholesome content we're here for, right? Bob learning about I statements.
You talked me out of a beating at that last place, so I figured I owed you one. Well, consider us even then, and let me fight my own battles. Understood. Let's go then. I'm sure there's a new battle brewing somewhere.
They left the quickly growing riot. Behind them, someone pushed over the Nephthys stand. The Humane Water Department volunteers ran to their truck and drove away, terrified. And everything was caught on camera. Including them giving out their names, and those were the last two ones that weren't known.
Yeah.
Norbert was stepping on the gas. Gas, gas, gas. I got to step on the gas.
Wait, Bob was known, because he was one of the ones from
oh, right, it was
the hospital. It was
Amy.
Ronnie and Amy.
Yes, so Amy's name is now out there.
Mm. Fuck, I'm sorry, guys. I wasted a lot of time talking with those refugees. Please forgive me, Ronnie.
Let's just drive and hope no one got hurt.
Yes, all going well. There'll be a broken pipe somewhere and confused onlookers. We make sure everyone's alright, then get out before the cops show up.
You know you have a bad habit of thinking out loud when you're nervous?
Nervous is an understatement, but I do know that. Sorry.
There's lots of people up ahead. This has to be it. They parked the car and rushed to the scene. There were no guards. A water pipe was ruptured, though. 2 lengths of the plastic pipe pulled clean apart. A steady, glittering shower of neon water was falling to the street. People were lined up, filling canisters and bottles. Nearby, a car was running. Chains were attached to it. Oh, thank God, the plan worked.
No, it didn't.
She pointed to the car.
They pulled the pipe apart with the car like we've done 100 times.
Someone finally copied us. The sweeper went past this point. It must have somehow made it through the gap to the other side.
Guys, I think this could be where the bomb came off the sweeper, which would mean
that it's somewhere at the feet of these people. But you said that it definitely went off. I also said bombs aren't precision weapons. A million things could have gone wrong. We have to evacuate everyone. Without saying anything more, she ran to the crowd. Oh no! The irony just got... Listen up, everyone needs to clear this area right now. Shut up, there's free water!
She's right. This area could be dangerous. Just let us search it quickly.
You said yourself we should break the pipes on our own. Make up your mind. Josephine turned and saw the mother they met a few days ago. What was her name, Katrina?
Did you do this?
Yeah, me and my kids came up with the plan. The car belongs to our janitor, and the young man from the 2 blocks down collected with the change.
That's good. Great. Keep doing this, and eventually Nethys will realize that they have to make changes. But right now, you have to let us search this area. Please. We'll resume water collection in a couple of minutes.
But why? The security could be already minute. We have to make the most out of this.
Katrina folded her arms in anger.
You gave us this idea.
I know I did, but there might be a bomb down here somewhere.
Gasps, then silence, then panic as people began grabbing their family members and looking at their feet. Everyone keep your eyes on your feet and slowly walk to the other side of the street. There's no reason to panic, we just want to be sure. Slowly at first the people began to move. Those on the edges started taking calm, measured steps to get out. Those hemmed inside the crowd quickly grew more anxious and began shoving the people in front of them. Stay calm. Shoving and pushing helps no one. If you see something by your feet that doesn't belong, put your hand up and yell. Slowly the area was clear, almost. Suddenly Katrina screamed, "Jimmy!" Jimmy, the boy with the scraped knee, was standing alone and holding something. It was the bomb.
I found it, Mom! I found it! The thing they're looking for!
He shouted, oblivious to what he was playing with. His 2 siblings danced around, excitedly reaching for the device.
Oh no.
The crowd stood still. Josephine could see the look of unimaginable horror on the mother's face. Josephine tried to move, but couldn't. Fear had completely paralyzed her. The boy was now silent. He didn't seem to understand why everyone was staring at him. Ronnie took a few steps towards the boy. Hey, remember me? We met a couple of days ago. I'm Ronnie. You're Jimmy, right?
Yeah,
the boy replied. He was crying now. Fear is contagious, and everyone around him was very scared. Jimmy, I'm going to need you to give me that thing you have there, okay? You're very brave, Jimmy. I'll come to you, and then you can give it to me.
Why?
The boy was suspicious.
It's not yours.
I'll trade you for it. I'll let you play with my gun. How would you like that? Ronnie pulled her pistol, cleared it of bullets, and held it out like a present. He approached him slowly, holding out the weapon. Josephine took a step, then another, then her muscles finally woke up. She tugged Norbert along and they followed Ronnie. 1 step at a time, towards mortal danger, and the children in it. Her chest hurt. It did that when her heart was beating faster than it was supposed to. Ronnie had said the bomb was small. What that meant for the strength of the explosion was anyone's guess. You're doing great, Jimmy. I'm almost there. Josephine and Norbert reached the kids, grabbed Jimmy's siblings, and ran for cover. She was halfway to the crowd when she looked back at Ronnie. Ronnie had knelt by Jimmy's side. Okay, Jimmy, I'm going to need you to give it to me.
Give me the gun first,
Jimmy declared defiantly. Okay, here, take it. Jimmy took the gun and tossed the bomb on the ground. No! It exploded.
Ronnie!
The explosion wasn't big. Ronnie and Jimmy flew back and landed on the concrete. For a while, everything was quiet. Then Jimmy screamed. He was alive. Josephine watched Katrina run over to the boy. Ronnie got up on her own. There was a lot of blood. None of it was Ronnie's.
He's hurt. Somebody help!
Let me through. I'm a doctor. Norbert had put down the child and taken a first aid kit from the car. Doctor, let me see the wound. He knelt by the boy, and it didn't look good. Jimmy had a gaping wound on his face, and his right foot seemed badly hurt. Jimmy, look me in the eyes. I'm a doctor, and I will help you.
Are you going to listen to my heart? Jimmy whispered.
I forgot this entire previous scene that I had been Jimmy.
Shit!
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I am, but first I'm going to bind your wounds, okay? I need water and bandages. Ronnie got up and limped to Josephine.
Are you alright?
This was our fault.
No, this is my fault. It was my idea.
They watched in silence as Norbert took over the scene. Norbert was being assisted by 2 local mothers. They were helping to bandage Jimmy's injuries. Put pressure on that wound. You lift him up by his feet. I'll take the hands. Anyone called an ambulance? No one had. No one could afford to. Then call a taxi. I'll pay. The hospital bill as well. It was strange. Norbert was usually nervous under stress, but not now. He was in his element. Hold him down. I need to clean the laceration. Josephine turned around to see tears flow down Ronnie's face.
Are you...
No, I'm not. Joe, I told you I was an army engineer.
Don't blame yourself. The plan was good, the explosion small. We couldn't know.
I could. I told you I knew how to blow up water pipes, didn't I?
Yes.
That's what we did in the army. We searched villages that we suspected were helping the enemy. And then no matter what we found, we blew up their water pipes. Drinking water, Sewers, irrigation, all of it.
What? Why?
Military necessity, we were told. I never asked why, and now I feel like I'm back doing the same thing.
You're not. You're helping.
Tell it to that boy's mother.
It's horrible, I know, but we can do better. If we win, that boy will grow up in a better
I
world.
didn't sign up for hurting children. Nephthys hurts children. We weren't supposed to.
Don't blame yourself. This was my plan. I take responsibility.
It doesn't matter who takes responsibility. That boy won't feel safe playing outside ever again. He'll be teased about the scars. He's not going to get dates when people see him. They'll just see someone broken that they'd rather not fix. Josephine took her hand. Ronnie pulled it away. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene.
You're afraid that boy's gonna suffer as you did.
Having a huge scar on your face isn't easy. Coming back from war isn't easy. But he will suffer until the day he dies because of us, because of what we chose to do. Norbert came back. The child had been lifted into a taxi. He'll live, but his leg will never be the same. A sharp piece of plastic also struck his face, but fortunately it did not hit his eyes. He gave his mother the money for the trip and then the initial treatment costs. The neighbors pitched in as well.
Thank God he didn't die.
Maybe not this time, but we're never doing this again. Not bombs. I agree, this was a mistake.
Wait, this is your doing?
Katrina walked up to them.
I
think I came over here to thank you for your help.
The fury in her eyes was more frightening than any bomb.
People, they did this. These monsters did this to my Jimmy.
A crowd quickly gathered around them. They no longer looked grateful.
Please, you have to understand, we did this to help you. We only wanted to give more water to more people. That bomb was supposed to go off in a completely abandoned part of town. I can't even imagine how you feel right now. Katrina, or the rest of you, all I can do is give you my word that we will do...
What you'll do is rot in prison. We should kill you right now.
In the corner of her eye, Josephine could see Ronnie softly place a hand on her gun. She'd picked it up. That gun's empty, soldier girl. I saw you take out the bullets. Katrina said in a suspiciously low voice. But I'm not a murderer. Get out of here and never come back to this place.
We don't need this kind of help. No one does.
I understand. I've never been sorrier in my life. We'll go.
The crowd followed them to the car and for a while after. They definitely called the guards.
I would have done the same.
Ronnie? Yes? What you did back there was incredibly brave. Thanks. You too, thanks for saving that boy. There wasn't much I could do. How bad was it? I'm not sure he'll walk again. Not with that foot. I gave them all the money I had, but they're still struggling with medical bills for years. They'll be struggling with medical bills for years. Forever, maybe. I can't even bear to say it.
We destroyed his life.
They drove off as the water that no one was collecting washed away the blood. Some of it had splashed onto the walls of the house and would never come off. Dear God!
Small bombs, am I right?
This game pulls no punches. Norbert drove the car. No one said anything. The meeting point, Amy and Bob stormed into the car, giggling.
He caused a riot. We got ordinary people to throw their water bottles at Nephthys. You should have seen it, and it's all on the newsreels.
The gloomy silence inside quickly shut down their laughter.
I take it something bad happened? That rogue bomb I called you about.
We almost killed a child. That boy with the scraped knee, Jimmy.
Fucking hell, how bad?
He'll live, but he'll have a scar for the rest of his life. He might never walk again. All thanks to us.
Oh, fuck. And I thought we did good today.
This can never happen again.
It won't. Don't worry.
I mean it, Joe. I'd rather Nephthys take over the city than have another kid's blood on my hands. If this is the price, then I'm not willing to pay it.
Armor Girl's got a point. We should be better than this. Yeah, self-defense is one thing. We were obviously too careless. We'll never use bombs again, I promise. We'll find another way.
There might not be another way.
What do you mean?
This happened because you wanted to strike a big blow at Francis. Maybe there is no big winning blow. Maybe it's a slow grind that will take years to have any effect. Are you ready for that? Because I'm not sure I am. Every month increases our chance of fucking this up. And every new encounter means someone else might get caught in the crossfire.
What are you saying?
I'm asking, is there a point? If we can't win this war without hurting those we wish to protect, why bother?
You'd rather go into exile? Do you want to leave us? I don't want you to stay if you don't want to.
I'm not going to leave you. But I feel like you're taking us to war without realizing it. With war comes devastation and death. I guess I'm asking if you know what you're doing. Even if we had to live in the fucking desert, at least there's peace in the desert.
I do. We'll never again risk civilians. The bombs were a reckless and stupid plan. I'm sorry.
Good. You should be. I can't forgive you because I'm just as guilty. I made the damn thing. We're all guilty. All we can do is keep working so that kid will at least grow up in a better world.
Not working, fighting.
Huh?
Ronnie's right. Our decisions have stakes. We aren't just spraying protest slogans. People might get hurt. We have to make sure it's either us or Nephthys who do. And we have to start treating the root cause and not the symptoms.
What do you mean?
There's no way to redistribute water as efficiently as Nephthys can take it away or price it up. We have to go after them directly. Well said, and I agree. Me too.
I'll hold you to your word. Nephthys bleeds or we do. No one else.
Norbert?
You know I'd prefer the desert of peace to war in the city, but protecting the innocent is more important than avoiding violence. Just remember they're often the same thing. They got back to the house feeling a bit better. At the very least, they were all still on board with the cause. And together. There were enough rooms for everyone in the big house, but that night they camped together in the living room. No one wanted to be alone. So they raided the wine cellar instead. I know your parents coming home, Amy. It's been several months.
Not anytime soon. They have houses like this around the world, and my father goes to a lot of conferences.
Will we get a heads up if they do?
Hopefully, but if not, I'll just say you're my friends and we had a party here.
Strange bunch of friends you have.
I'm spending my time with smart and good people. What more could they ask for?
They may have reservations about our career choices. Speak for yourself. Everyone wants their children to befriend doctors.
Or honest workers.
Security guard doesn't count as honest work, does it?
Not the kind my parents would respect. Could we do something nice for that kid? Send him some candy or something?
It's risky, and slim compensation for nearly blowing him up.
You know what? We should do it. Let's send him some toys and candy, and maybe more money for treatment.
That... Okay.
How would we do it?
People send little gifts to victims of violence all the time. We can say that our thoughts are with them and that we both hope the terrorists are killed soon, or something. Or something would be a fantastic way to end a card. Alright, let's do it. I like that idea.
Shh, it's the news. That poor kid is guaranteed to come up.
Hey, it's just me this evening. Hope you're ready for some great news. Good evening. This is Channel 411 Metro News Special Report. I am Chris Rivers.
I love the names Rivers, like water.
Yeah!
Tragic end to this year's Big Sister when the studio forgets to let you out. Marry your ex or spend a day in a cage with rabid hyenas. Would you rather? Takes reality TV to new heights. Today at 21:45. Only on this channel.
Report. People still watch TV for some reason. I was wondering about that. In the Cyberpunk future, people still...
And I am Tina McAllister.
Thank you for giving our viewers the chance to read that incredibly hilarious Chiron.
Yeah.
The group of terrorists that have ravaged the city for months has now taken the campaign to new, gruesome levels.
Earlier this evening, a child was injured when at least 7 bombs were detonated by the still mysterious group.
Police have confirmed that a 9-year-old boy was hospitalized after a bomb went off near an intentionally destroyed water pipe.
The authorities wish to remind everyone that tampering with the water supply system is always dangerous, bombs or not.
Furthermore, it is being speculated that large crowds of civilians around the broken water pipes are tempting target for violent extremists.
We have here our regular special guest, Mr. Braybeck himself, to give a statement.
Do we have any other guests on?
Not
on
really,
our channel?
no. It's kind of weird. I try not to think about it. Good evening, Tina and Chris.
He said my name again. What? Does this mean you'll start returning my calls?
I'll think about it.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Braybeck.
I'm afraid I have to disagree with you, Chris. You see, there is nothing pleasant about what happened tonight. I've just come back from the hospital after meeting with the victim, young James. I have never seen a braver or more vibrantly optimistic child. Kids like Jimmy are the future of this city. And it disgusts me that someone targeting my property ended up savagely maiming one of the most innocent people in it.
There's you see the
Yeah.
rhetorical turn there. My property. He wants the city is his property, huh?
Yeah. Mr. Braybeck, we share in your grief. Is Nephthys taking steps to reduce the risk of something like this happening again? Decisive and swift steps. I have already authorized a much larger security budget and regular patrols along our pipe routes. It is our utmost priority that Jimmy, his siblings, and all the children of this city can sleep safe and sound. I am devastated at our failure to do so today.
It's inspiring to hear such heartfelt words. What would you say to the terrorists if given the chance?
Only this. If it's me you want, then come for me. I don't need to give you my address. But don't hurt the children of this city and call it a victory. That is nothing short of despicable cowardice. Truly inspiring words, Mr. Brayback. Thank you.
Fucking asshole.
Thank you, Tina and Chris.
Yes.
I hope next time we'll meet in happier circumstances.
Said my name again.
Perhaps stoked by the publicity these attacks have given the issue, riots broke out in the suburbs as frustrated inhabitants attacked Nephthys employees.
The riots were quickly quelled by the police. Many among the rioters were protesting rising water prices and other Nephthys policies.
Are common citizens choosing to side with terrorists that are this vile? Stand with us as we ask experts on our evening talk show.
God, the propaganda is strong with these people.
Yeah?
Propagandalicious.
We did it! People are questioning Nephthys on the news. That's a victory. I think I spotted you in that footage. And I definitely spotted you. Should we be worried? Yes, and we should avoid getting caught on camera in the future, but I did like the sight of that riot.
Oh, we're plugged in, okay. Did we watch the same segment? Because we were branded as bombing terrorists. With reason. And Francis came out looking like a hero.
Yes, but we don't need the people to side with us if we can get them to oppose Nephthys. What do you mean? We want to destroy the narrative Nephthys peddles, don't we? Well, that's happening. I checked online. Online?
So you see, there's this thing called the internet, and you can use it to play things like Pac-Man. You know, like what I can do on your heart while you're sleeping.
I thought we agreed not to.
I got the new high score.
People are posting pictures where they burn their water bills. Many people hate Nephthys, and now there's an outlet for that.
And others?
And others are calling them terrorist sympathizers who deserve to die for refusing to pay their bills. But they're now having a discussion that they didn't before. A discussion about water. Exactly, and that's what Nephthys fears more than any bombing. What are you suggesting we do? Well, nothing. If we strike again, those defending Nephthys will have more ammo. So, we should just sit here and wait for democracy to work? No, I can make some calls. Students United Against Depression can organize a formal demonstration at the gardens. What could be worse for Nephthys lie about being a bunch of humanitarians than pictures of angry people at their headquarters?
Amy has a point. We can strike a blow without striking any bombs.
How soon could you put together a demonstration at the gardens? By next weekend, I think. You mustn't be there yourself. It's too dangerous. None of us should. Except me.
What?
Nephthys is doing something much bigger than water. They've evicted thousands, and I bet they plan to evict more. What are you proposing we do?
I see where this is going, and my answer is no. Even if you do know a good grassy knoll up there.
Where? What are you guys talking about?
Josephine, you can't be planning to.
Planning what? We need to find out Nephthys' plans. We need intel.
There has to be another way. We can't do one. We already did our one last job.
Another way than what? There isn't. I'm going to infiltrate the gardens.
Damn. This game is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Join us next time for more of this, because I'm fucking loving every moment of this.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.